Work-life balance. This is a funny one. Everyone's striving towards work-life balance, but not actually really understanding what that is for them in this moment. Now, work-life balance is different for everybody, and it will be different for different parts and periods of your life. And when you start understanding that it is a balance and it is temporary and it does move, all of a sudden it becomes a lot more easy to obtain a work-life balance because you're working towards something. So for example, if I've got a project, I've got a tender to put in, all of a sudden this tender is really important, it's short-lived because we have a deadline date. And all of a sudden, my priority for work to get this tender because it's important to me moves up the list. So I need to spend more time at work to do that. So my balance is more work, less time at home. But because there's an end date, I can then also flip the coin as like, okay, so for the next month, I know that I'm going to be pulling some extra hours at work and that this is where my work-life balance currently sits. So it's an acknowledgement of where it currently is. However, when this tender goes in, there I can then start pushing more time to my family and giving back to them. And in the meantime, when you're going through this slight out of balance where you are spending more time at work than at home than what you would like, is looking at the quality time that you are spending, not just with your family, but on yourself. Because when we are putting a lot of energy into work, we can get exhausted, mentally and physically exhausted, and our energy levels are low. So we feel like we don't actually have much to give to our family and friends. However, when we look at doing things that make us happy and fill us up, so for me, it's going and spending time at the beach, it's going for walks, spending time in nature, just closing off and just being and not having to talk, no press, that really fills me up. And then all of a sudden, I've got a lot more energy. So then when I come home, I can then spend quality time because I'm now present with my family. And then it may be a time where children are ill, family members may be ill, and all of a sudden your family move up the priority. So you're spending more time at home than at work. Again, it's an acceptance of the situation of where you currently are, and it moves. And right now you need to spend more time with your family. So it's accepting the fact that you can't spend as much time at work and you may need to delegate out or upskill someone else to do the work for you. Again, it's temporary, but it's where it is at the moment. And just accepting the way the situation is doesn't mean that it's good, bad, or indifferent. It's just when you accept something, you now have control over decisions that you can make with regards to that rather than pushing against where you are and saying, I don't want this to happen. So it's an acceptance and then pushing into what decisions, what control do I have, and how can I navigate this time moving forward? So it keeps your brain into that, in that logic and rational part of the brain for you to make those decisions as well. Whereas when we're pushing against something, we're getting stressed and we move into that fight and flight part of our brain where we can't make these decisions and we can't see as rationally or as logic as what we need to be able to navigate these. And then sometimes it is an equal. So it's just a matter of looking at what is going on within your life. How can you containerize it so it doesn't feel like it's forever? And what can you do in that moment to really get the most out of the time that you are spending in these areas? And also, how are you looking after yourself? And then when you're moving into other areas of whether it's more home and less work, again, it's how are you navigating this? Staying in control and accepting the situation to where it is and putting deadline dates or even knowing that, oh, this is only going to be for 2 weeks or this is only going to be for the next 2 months. Understanding that will give you that sense of control as well, because your brain doesn't feel, oh my God, this is going to be forever, and you stay in that fight and flight part of the brain. So it's learning to really containerize the situation you're in, accepting the situation you're in, and looking at how you can move through it with the choices and decisions that you can make within that. So give it a go. If you've got any questions, as always, feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to help. Take care.